Welcome to another edition of Jake's Super Safe Money Updates. Jake, thanks for joining us again for another Super Safe Money Update.
You're welcome, Kelsey.
I've heard that a lot of long-term care insurance premiums are skyrocketing. I'd like to ask you a few questions about this trend to get your take as an industry insider. First, are long-term care insurance premiums really going up as much as I've heard?
Well, unfortunately, they are going up as much as you've heard, and you use the word skyrocketing, which really is not an exaggeration. This is a letter from one of the leading long-term care producers that is a pioneer in the long-term care industry. Everyone will have heard their name. And the letter says that this person's premium is going up 83%. So we're talking about premiums that are almost doubling, and it really is happening a lot. A lot of the companies that I've seen other increases on are between 20 and 40%, and we've seen some of them do them in back-to-back years or every other year. So we're talking about a major increase.
So why do you think this is happening?
Well, I think there's a few reasons that this is happening. The first is that the demographics are changing. We're living a lot longer than these companies thought that their policyholders would live, and so they're staying on claim much longer than they thought they were going to, and that's probably the biggest factor. The second is what the industry calls lapse rates, and that's how many people they guess will drop their policy and never use it. So they might pay premiums for 5 years and then just drop it and never use it. Well, nobody is lapsing their policy. They're all keeping it almost forever. So there's more people going on claim. Not as many people are dropping out of the claims process, and so there's just a lot more claims being paid. So nearly every company has misjudged these, and we've seen almost all of them raising premiums. There's only a couple out of 100 that haven't.
Do you personally see these trends continuing?
Well, I do see the trends continuing for the same reason. The demographic problem that we have is really only going to continue. You've heard about the leading edge of the baby boomers coming into retirement, and then they're living longer, and then medicine and all of the different procedures are getting better and better and better. So as that technology gets better, it's going to be even worse for the long-term care providers. So we see this as a trend that will continue for many years.
Well, is there any hope for people that do want to protect themselves from these rate increases?
Well, there are. There's a couple things you've got to do. And the first thing is there's two different rate increases. People that have had policies for many, many years, maybe you bought it 10 years ago, and now all of a sudden you see your premiums going up 70, 80, 90%. But then also there are just the year-to-year premium increases on policies that aren't bought yet. So a 65-year-old looking to buy it next year, it's a whole lot more expensive than if they would have bought it when they were 55. So it's just getting a whole lot more expensive for both of those classes. The thing that people need to realize is there are things you can do. You can buy policies that have some premium guarantees. There are ways to get a guarantee that if you don't use your insurance, your money can go back to your heirs, the money you put in. So you've got to search harder for these. They're not as common. They're very high-rated carriers that have them, but not as many of the companies have these guarantees built into the contract. So there is hope. You can look at that. If you've got a policy and you've only had it for a few years, it might be possible that you could even exchange it for one of these better ones. So it just depends on the circumstances of your specific situation. We have published a couple of booklets on this that we put out to the public, Puzzled by Long-Term Care and 9 Mistakes to Avoid when Buying Long-Term Care. So as a free resource to all the viewers of this video, we're happy to give these away at no charge. We'll put some stuff up on the screen to where you can order these booklets if you'd like them. We can either send them electronically through email or we can send them in the mail as well.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.